Hello, I've not done this in a little while. It's nice to be making a video again. I thought I'd talk about how I became a professional artist. I went to university for 5 years. I went to UCA in Canterbury and I did illustration and animation, which is a course that doesn't exist anymore. They've gotten rid of it. The first year was very much foundation. We kind of did a bit of everything: screen printing, lino printing, which I loved, the basics of illustration, the basics of animation, and then we went a little more deeper into it in the years 2 and 3. And then I went on to do my master's degree at Teesside and I did my master's in concept art. The dream for me has always been to work in animation. I love animation just as a media format, and I also love animation to make animations. I love animating, basically. So once I graduated in 2022, I applied for so many jobs. Sorry if you can hear my guinea pigs. I applied for so many jobs, it was ridiculous. I remember just scrolling through my emails and just seeing the amounts that came through of just, you've not been successful, you've not been successful. No even invites to interview. That's how dire the job market is. But I think that's a wider problem in the animation industry anyway. I also cold emailed every single animation studio in the UK, I'm not joking, every single one, just to see if they would do anything to help me. I think I might have gotten a reply from 1 or 2 and they both said we can't do anything, so that was really helpful. I think I may have also sent one of the animation studios an email with another animation studio's name in the title, saying like, hi, animation studio name, and it was the wrong name, so sorry about that. That's probably why they didn't get back to me, but it was only one of them, one of the many that I emailed. So yes, application after application. I worked part-time for a few years just in retail jobs. I worked as a teaching assistant. It was my most recent job for 8 months, I think it was, which is a job I absolutely loved, but it still wasn't art, which is my absolute dream and passion. And I had a few little commissions, you know, I went to Comic-Cons and did some illustrating there, sold my digital art, and had a few animation projects throughout, you know, just dropped in there throughout those years. But I was struggling with working in retail, struggling working in a public facing job, and struggling not doing art as a career, because that's what I'd worked for, that's what I wanted to do. So I decided I needed to just do it myself. And I saw on TikTok and social media people doing live wedding illustration and live wedding painting. Specifically, the painting was what I originally wanted to do. And I did a few for free, a few paintings for free, which I will put here. Some of them are a bit worse for wear. I'm a lot better now, but I did them for free just to bulk up my portfolio. And then I thought about doing guest illustrations later on, and thank God I did, because my guest illustrations are a lot more popular than my paintings. So if I had only launched the paintings, I think I would have had to go back to working just a non-creative job. I launched my business and I got my first booking within the month. Somebody's illustrator had cancelled on them, so I said, I'll do it. Please, anything. So I went and did that, and it was great. I loved it. I was so nervous the first few weddings I did. My hands would just shake for the first hour, which is not great when you're trying to draw people. I'll put some examples of my work here for guest illustrations. And so it just took off really, and I posted on social media as much as possible and really tried to get my name out there. And it seems to have worked out really well. I mean, I'm doing this full time now, which is amazing. I also do animation work, so I've done some work for Tapestry, which I'll put some little clips of here. I also work with Vol Psychology, who is a company that does autism and ADHD assessments. So we do a bit of a myth-busting series about those two things and talk about maybe the misconceptions people have, and also animations for children who might be going through the diagnosis journey. So that's really fun. That's like a regular job I have, which is amazing. And then I just get other animation jobs as well. But those have come from just me posting my work a lot, me just reaching out to people. I think one of the things you have to do when you're trying to be a professional artist is put yourself out there massively. You have to be really brave, and creativity is often intrinsically linked with our hearts and our brains and souls, and so it's tricky sometimes, I think, to put that out there, because in effect, when you're putting your art out there, you're putting yourself out there to be criticised and judged, and if you're not getting a positive reception from that, it's heartbreaking. It is genuine. It is literally heartbreaking, because it is your heart and your soul and what you love to do. So you have to be brave. You have to be willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You have to be willing to be a content creator, which is, you know, I've always created content even from a young age. Sorry to anyone who knew me in my YouTuber era when I was 14. It was truly a dark time for me, but I love doing it. And so you have to be willing to do that, because unfortunately, when you're an artist and the jobs, the real jobs, the 9-to-5s and studios and stuff is so scarce, you have to do it yourself. And it's frightening, and a lot of people don't want to do that, and I didn't really want to do that. I always said I never wanted to run a business and be a boss, even just to myself. I think unfortunately that is just the climate of the art industry at the moment. Let me know if you're having a different experience though of like the art industry or the wider industry. I'd love to know your viewpoints and learn a bit more about the wider space, because obviously I'm sort of in my little self-employed bubble, which is working amazingly for me. But the dream was always to create, and oh my gosh, my guinea pigs. The dream for me was always to create and be a part of at least creating these amazing stories that I love so much. Telling these stories of people that their stories have not been told before, at least not accurately. That's what I wanted to do. I'm very passionate about breaking through boundaries and breaking down stereotypes. I did all of my 2 dissertations that I did throughout university on stereotyping and breaking those stereotypes. So I wanted to be a part of that and creating true representations of everyone in media. Just every type of person deserves to see themselves in media, because a lot of the time people go about their lives in this sort of echo chamber of their own culture, identity, sexuality, and the way that they learn about people in the world is through media. So if those portrayals of people are not multifaceted and very stereotypical, then that is literally going to become their viewpoint of the world. Which is a devastating idea to have, but I think that is the truth a lot of the time. But anyway, we've gone on a long rant there, but that is basically my story and how I got into doing art professionally and art full time. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be doing some more videos soon. You can follow me on my socials. I am Elestras for my digital art and animation, and I am maddysalgadoart for my wedding stuff. See you next time. Bye.